Hello, students. My name is Jean Wilwell. I'm the Senior Director of Residential and Commuter Life at Longwood University, and I'm so excited to be able to welcome you to the university and to life on campus. So, welcome home. We definitely consider this your home here. Hope you will feel at home as you arrive to campus and get to meet all the other wonderful students and staff members that are here to assist you during your Longwood journey. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, just wanted to let you know in the residential commuter life office, we have a lot of staff members here that are here to help support you and help you navigate the campus and campus life. I am the senior director of the office. We also have associate and other assistant directors. And in the residence halls and in our apartment communities, we have full time staff members called residence education coordinators who work directly with our student staff that are here to also provide supports for you during your time at Longwood. So, as I mentioned, we do employ students just like you. Many of these students decided to be RAs because they had an RA their first year at Longwood that really helped them out. And so they want to do the same thing for other new students. We also have desk aides and desk supervisors. So each of our residence halls and apartment communities have a front desk as you walk into the building. So that's the first smiling face that you'll see to welcome you when you arrive to campus. But they are a great resource to answer questions that you might have about where things are located on campus, resources to help you with your classes, getting to know other students. If you're interested in student organizations, they can get you connected with an organization that may be of interest to you. So, just all around, just a lot of people to help you with your time here on campus. I know we got to talk about some important policies. I know, but I'll try to make it as pain free as possible. So when you came to Longwood, you might have said, "I'm ready to party." Well, here's the thing. I know it's going to come as a shock to everybody, but in the United States, the legal drinking age is 21, and this is even more shocking. Virginia is located in the United States. And this one's really going to throw you for a loop. Farmville is located in Virginia. So we are going to follow the law. In all seriousness, there are so many fun things to do on campus that don't involve alcohol, as well as in the town of Farmville. And your RAs and your peer mentors will help you get connected to a lot of those events that are happening. And the great part is most of those events are free for students. So you don't have to pay anything to go to those fun things that we have planned for you here on campus. Other thing I want to point out is that on Longwood's campus, we have designated smoking areas. So you can't just walk around campus with a vape or with a cigarette. We have specific areas that students can do that. They're designated smoking areas. But also, just want to remind people that in the state of Virginia, the legal age to consume tobacco and nicotine products is 21. Yay, more policies. Get excited. Woohoo! So other thing I just wanted to talk about is renter's insurance. So when you're here at Longwood, um, our facility staff will take care of fixing anything that needs to be fixed in the residence halls or in the apartment communities. However, in the unfortunate situation, let's say a student decided it would be fun to play ball in the hallway and they hit a sprinkler head. And that sprinkler head starts having water coming out of it everywhere. Our facility staff is going to respond to that very immediately, shut the water off, and fix all that. But maybe you accidentally left your laptop on the floor in your room, and some water got underneath your door, and it got into your laptop, and now your laptop won't work anymore. So the only way for you to get that laptop replaced without it costing anything to you would be through your own renter's insurance policy. The university isn't going to replace your personal items in the event of something like that. But we will fix all of the facilities or anything in the buildings that needs to be fixed because of that. And so while that isn't something that happens on a regular occurrence, I just, as an example, wanted to let you know that. So we do recommend that students have renter's insurance. Now, sometimes your parents' homeowner policy or their own renter's insurance policy will cover you while you're at school. But that's something you would want to have your family check with their policy to see if it will. If it doesn't, renter's insurance is a very cheap policy to add on to an existing policy that your family may have to cover your personal belongings while you're away at school. So it's not required to have renter's insurance, but we just recommend it as a good thing to do. Well, we made it. Oh, hope everybody's still with me. We made it through those policies. So next I want to talk about signing up for housing if you're a student that's going to live on campus. So you're going to get the opportunity to fill out a housing application survey. This survey will open on April 6th and it will close on June 5th. So you have plenty of time to submit your housing application. Once your housing application is ready, you will receive an email to both your personal email account on file with the university and your Longwood email account with instructions on filling out your housing application. Your housing application will allow you to preference the building you want to be assigned to. It'll allow you, if you've met another student that's coming to Longwood and you both want to live together, you can preference one another as roommates on your housing application. If you both preference one another, we will assign you together as roommates. Or you can do a roommate matching survey and we will pair you with another Longwood student to be your roommate. The thing that's really important is we wait to start assigning students until after June 5th. So there's no advantage to filling out your housing application April 6th or filling it out June 1st. We wait until we have them all in so we can look at what everybody's requesting so we can match the most preferences as we can. I will tell you, I've been at Longwood for 18 years, and typically we can get about 97% of our students into their first or second building choice. So most people are going to get assigned to their first or second choice, and there'll be a small number that we might have to go to your third choice for buildings. The housing application will also allow you to preference suite mates. So at Longwood, in the rooms you'll live in, the typical setup is 2 bedrooms in a suite. So 2 double rooms that share a bathroom. We have a limited number of 3-bedroom suites that have 3 double rooms that share the bathroom. So if you've met other students that you want to have be your suite mates, so live in the other room in the suite with you, you can also preference that on your housing application. Some years we get a small number of students that have found suite mates, so we allow them to be able to put that on their housing application, and we'll match them with those specific suite mates if they like to do that. So on this screen, you will see over on the left, there's going to be some informational things that are helpful for you when filling out your housing application. So we have a tutorial video on how to submit the housing application, which there'll be a link to that in the email that you get with the instructions about filling out your housing application, but you can also click on this button in the Housing Gateway and you can view that as well. And then we also have information about our different residence halls and apartment communities. So you can click on the community information button and you'll be able to view virtual tours and pictures of those rooms. So you can take a look at that prior to registering for housing. And then the other form will give you information about your meal plan options, because when you fill out your housing application, you're also going to select your meal plan for next year. So that'll give you some information about that. So once you've gone ahead and you've reviewed that information, you can then click on the housing application button to enter the form to fill out your housing application, which will be submitted then to our office. So what are your options? So first-year students can preference the following residence halls: Johns and Moss Hall, Register Hall, Sharp Hall, and Wheeler. So Wheeler is going to house students that are part of the Cormier Honors College. There will also be space in Wheeler for students that are not part of the Honors College. Students that are a part of the Honors College can select to live in Wheeler, or if they prefer to live in one of the other residence halls, they can preference one of the other residence halls as well. All of our residence hall floors are co-ed by suite. What that means is you could have 10 suites of females on a floor and 5 suites of males. The entire suite itself will be all one gender, but within the floors, there will be male suites and female suites. We have reserved one floor in Moss and one floor in Johns that will be all female. So every suite on that floor would house all female students. So on your housing application, if you prefer to be housed on one of those floors that only houses female students, you can go ahead and indicate that on your housing application, and we will make sure that you have been assigned to one of those female floors. Most of our rooms, as I indicated before, are double rooms, but we will also have a limited number of single rooms available to students. So a double room, you'd have a roommate living in the room with you. And then a single room would mean that the bedroom itself would just have you living there. And then you would still share the bathroom with the other people that live in the suite with you. And so we will try to accommodate as many of those single room requests as possible. The number that we will be able to accommodate will really be dictated by space availability and the number of requests that we receive for students for single rooms. As an upperclassman transfer student or after your first year Longwood, there are some additional options for housing for upperclassmen students. So within the residence halls, we house upperclassmen in Cox, Johns, Moss, Register, Sharp. Stubbs Hall is an all-female hall that traditionally houses a lot of our students that are a part of our sorority organizations. Wheeler. And then we also have two apartment communities, Lancer Park and Longwood Landings, that give students more privacy and independence after their first year at Longwood in the residence halls. So if you're a transfer student, you will be able to preference on your housing application the residence halls and then also the apartment communities. A first-year student will only be able to preference the residence halls. So mutual roommate requests. So you may have your best friend from home and you're both coming to school here and you've decided that you want to live together. If you preference each other on the housing application, we will absolutely assign you together as roommates. However, I do caution you that this could be a great opportunity to meet some other students, and maybe not living with your best friend is not the best idea in the world because you're already going to spend a lot of time with that person. And sometimes when you're living together, you may start to get on each other's nerves a little bit. So I do encourage students to really think about that. I know there can be some anxiety with living with somebody that you don't know, but sometimes it is better to live with somebody that you don't know so well than to live with your best friend from back home. So just wanted to kind of point that out to you. So what is going to happen after you submit your housing application? I am going to be working very fast to get those housing assignments done for you. And you will get those housing assignments by June 30th. So by June 30th, you will get an email to your Longwood email account, which will give you information about who your roommate is, where you're good, what room you've been assigned to, and who your suite mates are. That email will also provide you with information regarding move-in August. So I know that when you get that email, you're going to be so excited to go online and see who you're living with. But don't forget to also share that information with your family so they can help prepare for what day you're going to come to move into the residence halls. Yay, get excited. Yay. So with August opening, as I mentioned before, once you're assigned to a housing space, we will then be able to let you know your specific move-in date and time. So in order to alleviate traffic on move-in days and lines for elevators and all that and make it a very smooth process for students, we break up move-in into 2 days. So Wednesday, August 19th and Thursday, August 20th. So based upon your housing assignment, you'll be given a specific date and time for you to move in, and that information will be in your housing assignment notification that you receive from our office. Some other reminders. Typically in Virginia, it's hot in August. I know that's shocking, but think about what you really need those first few months at school. You don't necessarily need to bring everything you own. I said a couple of things I'm going to promise you is one, you're going to see your family again, and two, they're not going to sell all your personal items on eBay while you're away at school, okay? But in all seriousness, your first few months, you're probably not going to need a winter coat. It's not going to get that cold. So just think about the stuff that you're bringing and whether it's stuff that you really need, because you will go home at different break periods and you can be able to then bring your winter clothes to school and maybe exchange out some of your summer clothes that you had brought at the beginning of the year. So just think about what you're bringing as you're packing and coming to campus. Other things, if you're living in the residence halls, the bed size will be twin extra long. So you just want to make sure that you're getting those extra long sheets. Otherwise, you're going to be struggling like this woman trying to stretch those sheets out because they are twin beds, extra long. Other things are, so that big fridge at your house, don't bring that. Your family's still going to need that fridge to eat at their own house, but you can bring a mini fridge up to 4.6 cubic feet. So feel free to bring that for your room. Each roommate can have their own mini fridge if they choose to, or you could decide to share. That's really completely up to you and your roommate. We also provide a rental program. So if you don't want to lug that heavy fridge to campus and bring it in and take it home at the end of the year, we have a company we've partnered with called Microfridge. There's information about them on our website. But if you choose to do a rental with them, it's a fridge, freezer, microwave combo. It will already be in your room when you move in, plugged in, cold, ready to go. And then at the end of the year, the company will come and they will pick up that fridge at the end of the year. So you don't even have to do anything. They will come to your room after you've left for the year, and they will take those fridges back. So if you're interested in the convenience of that program, you can see that information on our website if you'd like to do a rental through Microfridge. Other things I want to remind you about is just some fire safety things here. So we have an environmental health and safety office on campus that really takes the lead in ensuring that any of the electrical items that students may be using in the room are safe. So we have a list on our website of things we recommend students bring to campus. We also have a list of things you can bring, and then we have a list of things you can't bring. The things that are on the can't bring list are really because they are deemed to be a potential fire hazard. So we want to make sure that we're not using those things in the residence halls. These are just an example of some of them. So we can't bring candles. You may say that, hey, Jean, this is the most decorative candle ever, and I pinky promise you I will never light that candle. You still can't have it in the residence hall, in the residence halls, or in the apartments. There's always going to be that temptation to light that candle, so we don't want to have them here. The plug-in air fresheners are prohibited because many times people forget that they have them and they can dry out. And if you leave them plugged in, dried out for a prolonged period of time, they can cause a fire. So we don't want those in the residence halls. You can have extension cords, but they need to be the ones with the surge protector on them, which are the ones that have that little on-off button on the side, and they're rectangular in shape. So as long as you have those types of extension cords, you can have that. But the ones that don't have the surge protector on them, you wouldn't be able to have in your room. And we don't allow George Foreman's in the residence halls. That could, with grease and things, that could trigger a fire. So we don't allow that. And then you can have a lamp if you want to bring one, although the overhead lighting is plenty sufficient. But don't bring those cheap lamps that you sometimes see in the college section that they're advertising for selling things, because the ones with that cheap plastic around them, what happens oftentimes is people put light bulbs in them that are the wattage is too high, and that can melt the plastic, and that can be a fire hazard. So we don't want you to bring any of those types of lamps to campus. Other move-in reminders, in your room, you can have a fish in a bowl with some water. All three things are important: fish, water, and bowl. That's fine. You can have that in your room as a pet. You can't have this guy because he can live in that fishbowl, but he's also can live outside the fishbowl. So the fish has got to stay in the bowl with the water. So just want to let you know that. And then toothless fish. So nobody wants to lose a finger, so no piranhas. No piranhas. They can't have any teeth. And, the average person might think that this is a fish that's just out of the bowl. And so Jean said to put that fish back in that bowl with the water. But our staff is specially trained and they know that that's a dog dressed as a fish. In all seriousness, your dog will be definitely happy at home. I know you'll miss your dog while you're here at school, but your dog will be very happy with your parents, and you'll be able to go visit them when you go home for breaks. So just some information about commuter students. So as we're residential and commuter life, so we assist students that both live on campus and students that are commuting to school. We do have a lounge space reserved just for commuter students on the second floor of the Upchurch University Center. It's a nice place to hang out. It's got comfortable seating. There's a refrigerator and microwave there that students can use for their lunch. We've got lockers in case you want to store some stuff when you're going to classes. We also do some fun events for commuter students over there, usually around the lunch period. That'll involve like a free lunch. So who wouldn't want free food? Just some things that for students to do, stress relieving activities, hang out with other students, and have an opportunity to engage with others. We also do a commuter newsletter every month. We will advertise those events, and that'll come to your Longwood email account if you're a commuter student. So if you have questions, feel free to contact our office. I've provided our contact information there, both email and call. If you're on campus, we're located on the ground floor of Easton Hall, and we'll be glad to answer any questions that you might have. So always feel free to reach out to us, whether it's questions about living on campus or whether it's just questions about different things. Many of the people in our office are well versed on what the other resources are on campus, so we can answer a lot of questions related to other offices as well. So don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we'll definitely get you connected with the right office to answer your questions. Also, I wanted to provide you with my direct contact information. If you call our main line, they can answer pretty much everything, but sometimes people have made a connection with me and they would like to talk to me directly. Feel free to do that. I'm always open to hearing from students and families. That is my email address there, and that is my direct office phone number, so you can feel free to call me directly. Be glad to answer any questions that you might have. Again, welcome to Longwood. We're glad you're here. Anything that I can do or my office can do to assist you prior to your arrival to campus and also once you're here, we are absolutely glad to do that. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you very much.